Good evening, everyone. I think my internet's a lot more stable. What the problem was on Tuesday, if you give a toss, was basically I moved to a new house and I used the old cable from the modem instead of the brand new one that came with the modem because it's a tad longer. And the cable was crap, basically. Must have been damaged in the move, maybe, or was just a bit too long, not compatible, whatever it was. Just wouldn't send the signals properly to the modem. So I've moved the modem back to where the ONT box is, where the internet comes in the house. So it's now in the cupboard directly below me, which is quite cool. Because it means the signal in this room is so much better. So it's so much faster. I am live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for your patience if you were with me on Tuesday. The recording is available for anyone who's joining us tonight who doesn't have or didn't know about it on Tuesday or couldn't join us, whichever. Just drop me a message on any of my platforms and I will send it over to you. So I'm using two webcams, one for StreamYard, top one, and the laptop one for YouTube and Facebook through Zoom. The top one is in my very bright circly light thing. So if I don't look directly at you, it's because one, my notes are on my laptop, and two, that's really bright. So how people do recordings all day, I've got spots in the eyes now. But hey, I'm waffling right now because giving people a chance to join. Because hey, I've been on webinars and things where they start on time, and you're a little bit late. It's like going to the doctors, isn't it? If you're there early, you get called late. And if you're there late, they start having a go. So I do in between. I just make sure that people are given the chance to be here. But then equally, I'm very mindful of the time that I have set. I haven't read this out loud. Well, it's kind of a collection of little notes and things. Some bits are written, some bits are kind of filling the gaps. So we'll see how it goes. But welcome back to the Phoenix Within. So welcome back to the Phoenix Within. Last time we met Morgan, our main character, standing on the wrong side of a barrier on a bridge spanning a very large, very deep, very rocky, very life-ending type of gorge if gravity wanted to play. Wondering why life has to be the way everyone says it is. Morgan's a daydreamer, has always wondered why things have to be the way they are and how the top 3% of income earners actually made it into the top 3. The chapter then finished with Morgan getting to work with seconds to spare and getting on with the daily grind at their company. Morgan, as I mentioned last session, and for those of you who are new to this tonight, is whoever you want that person to be. They could be male, female, tall, short, white, black, thin, fat, she could be a doctor, could be a vet, could be a field work, whatever you want Morgan to be, that is who they are. So that every single person listening can relate to Morgan in their own way. So I'm going to try and not do too much description of the character. I am telling the story in first person. Okay. The transcripts, so once I've decided what I'm saying and made it up as I go along, which I really love doing because that's the best way to tell a story, they will go on as blog posts. The audios will go on as podcasts, and obviously these videos will be available on YouTube and obviously on the event pages on Facebook and LinkedIn. But this chapter tonight is Morgan's going to hear something that sparks curiosity, and all the dreaming comes flooding back, whether it's wanted or not. So let's find out what happens. Chapter 2. And I've called the chapter C.S. Lewis. Work is its usual dull process today. Bob, poor Bob, still being lumbered with the majority of the tasks, seems to be taking them on willingly, while everyone else seems to be doing the bare minimum, just enough to be paid while not drawing the boss's attention. Me? I follow along with everyone else, because that's what we do, isn't it? Follow the crowd wherever the crowd leads, do the same amount of work as everyone else. Any less, then you're called lazy. But if you do more, then you're a brown noser and should stop before you get everyone else in trouble by showing up their lack of work. I find that a bit weird. Surely if extra can be done in the same time frame, then it should be done. Won't everyone benefit by getting the job done more quickly and still to a good standard? No one else seems to think so. Until the annual appraisal need doing, of course, then it's scrambling to uncover all those nitty-bitty extras that we may have done in the last year to eke out that extra bit of bonus from the boss. All lies and cover-ups, of course. But that's how it is everywhere, isn't it? Even if you actually did the work that you say you did and put the extra effort in and did more than everyone to a better standard, you still get given the same appraisal score anyway, as otherwise everyone else would just complain and shout about unfair treatment. Workplaces are weird. If I owned my own company, it would be the opposite. Not to the other extreme, of course, but people would be praised for doing their job and that little bit more, for spending that extra time getting that extra bit done. For those who are lazy, they'd just be fired. Slow is just slow. You allow for the speed that that person works at if they are at least still trying to do their best. But if you know someone can do their work more efficiently and is just being lazy, then they should be called out. But in my company, that wouldn't happen, as everyone would know where they stand and what is expected of them. And if they couldn't meet those expectations, then they would understand where the door is and how to use it without being nudged or shown. I think I'm daydreaming again because someone's looking at me funny. Wait, do they want me to do something? I'm going to smile and nod my head. Oh, you are still with us then, they say. Meeting room, right now, let's go. You just love it when your mind has wandered off on autopilot when it needs to be aware of what's going on around you, like when people are giving you dodgy looks. Oh well, meeting time. Everyone crammed into a smallish room, waiting for some big announcement. The boss comes in, smiling in a funny sort of way. I can sense that he's quite excited, but trying to hide it. It's a very weird smile, almost like a smirk. Like they're trying not to smile, but still smile, if that makes any sense. Everyone goes quiet as some other people come in with the boss and the announcement is made. The company is being sold. Everyone still has their job, for now. I understand why the boss is being weird now. A massive payout for them. Equally, this company is theirs. We are their staff, and some staff have been with the boss since the beginning. Bob, for example. There seems to be no response from the staff, almost like a hushed sense of disbelief. A few more words, and the boss and the others who came in turn and leave. A few seconds passed, and then I simply stand here and listen. Well, guess we go looking elsewhere then. No loyalty anymore, just lining their own pockets. But they did say we still have our jobs. That's just so that everyone doesn't jump ship straight away and leave these new people with no staff to pick and choose from. Well, I'm going back to work. There are still things that need doing. Why bother? P45s for all by the end of the week. And I'll bet there won't be any redundancy money either. We still have customers that need their orders sorted. They will go elsewhere anyways. Have you not noticed all the ones that have left in the last week? If we're no longer required, then they have to give us redundancy. Not if the company folds and reopens all hush-hush like the bigwigs do. Remember Hermes? That's just collapsed. They just collapsed everything to avoid paying its bills, and then they opened up again as every. That was a rumour. Prove it. Well, we still need to get back to work, everyone. Nothing's confirmed yet, so let's just carry on as normal. Good old Bob. A few murmurs of agreement pass around the room at that point. Some people leave the room, others stay to continue their discussion. Me? I follow Bob back to my workstation and get on, just like he said. I was always taught to just do my work, so that's what I'll do until I'm told not to. Besides, I've rent due in a week or so, so work needs to be done. They can't just fire us and not pay what they've owed or what we're owed. So I'll just keep earning the paycheck. Bob seems to be doing the same, as do a few of the others. It feels a bit like putting our heads in the sand, I'll admit, But what else is there to do? The boss is busy with his buyers. Some workers are just using any excuse not to do any work for the rest of the day. Bob's busying himself like he normally does to make sure the deadlines are still met. So I will simply do my work. Ding! Thought I'd turn the sound off on my phone. Better check it though. Message from an unknown number. Probably spam. Right, back to work. Ding! The computer's at it. Email from the boss. Putting in writing everything they just announced, but no more information other than a spreadsheet, detailing the current customers and who is working where. Oh, I seem to be moving to work with another team as my last customer is marked as leaving. That can't be good. If I have no customers to manage, then my job can't be that secure. No, I do my work. I'm here on time, mostly. They have no reason to let me go, do they? But what if they do, though? What if I'm served my notice or given no notice period? I'm already behind on the rent, food still needs to be bought, and I was so close to having enough money in the bank to buy those new boots for winter. Wait, now my forehead's aching, right across my brow bones. My right ear this morning, now my forehead. What is up with my body today? I think it's just time for lunch. I'm not being productive sat here, so fresh air time. I'll take my lunch to the bench in the park, like I usually do when it's not chucking it down. The streets are surprisingly empty today as I come out of the building. It's cloudy, there's a bit of a chill to the wind, but it's not unpleasant. A few people are standing around the bookstore window. They must have a new display. I cross the street rather than get pulled into their gaggle of gossip. I think I've had enough gossip for one day. The park's empty, save for one lonely dog walker at the very far side. Just the way I like it. And I can't see any dog mess on the path today either. Maybe the council have been in and actually cleaned it up for a change. Or maybe the dog owners have finally grown a conscience or have actually been watching their dog instead of their phone. That seems weird to me. You go out for a walk and you just look at your phone instead of looking around you. It's my all-time favourite pastime to be looking around, to making shapes out of the clouds, to watch the leaves blowing through the trees, or see the squirrels scurrying around trying to bury the last few nuts before the weather really starts to turn. The image of the bridge from my dream just pops into my mind. Startles me a little, as the feeling of falling still isn't fully gone from my system and that's not pleasant. But I realise that can't happen anytime soon, as the leaves are almost all already gone from the trees today. And the trees in the dream were only just starting to turn their different shades of reds and orange and brown. So that's comforting at least. No falling for at least a year. Woohoo! So I reach the bench, open my lunch, tuck into my sandwich. Some fruit, couple of biscuits to follow, a few other little snacks, and a nice bottle of fresh tap water from my sink. I can hear the birds calling and look up to see a flock of feathery cows flying in V formation south for the winter. I may have to explain that one. The memory makes me smile, so hopefully it will make you smile as well. I was about 8 years old, out for a walk with my mum through a National Trust place near where we live. We were walking on a path between two fields, and usually these fields have gorgeous Highland cows in. You know, those big orange shaggy ones with the big horns? Scottish Highland coos. Love them. But there weren't any that day. Maybe the farmer rotates the field, or lets the fields rest, or moves the cows somewhere else for that time of year. Regardless, there were no cows, but there were some geese. Those are funny-shaped cows, my mum says. I look at her funny and remind her that they are geese, but she insists that they can't be geese as they are in a cow field. She pointed out the feathers and the wings and decided very triumphantly that the cows had evolved and she would call this new species feathery cows. At the time, I was rolling my eyes and wishing the world would swallow me up, as feathery cows came up again and again over the rest of that year and for quite some time after as well. She even told my friends, her friends, the family, everyone. It was quite embarrassing, but actually, now I look back on it, it was quite funny. I love the way my mom sees the world. I guess I get my weirdness from her. Oh, daydreaming again. Better get back to work. As I walk back, the crowd has gone from the bookstore now, so I decide to take a look. There are the usual new books and a lovely autumnal display of fake leaves, brown and orange draped fabrics, and a few quotes in frames, and one jumps out at me and makes me stop. Not sure why, but it gripped my attention and I almost lost my balance as I stopped mid-stride. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. By C.S. Lewis, the author of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But why is it catching my attention? My mind fills with images of feathery cows, standing on the edge, me standing on the edge of a bridge, me smiling. My right ear starts burning again, and I feel utterly overwhelmed. I hear a clock chime in the distance, and thankfully it snaps me out of this weird trance, and I hurry back to work. Once back at work, I feel hot, flustered, unsure of what's going on. I check my emails, nothing new, so I force myself to get back on with work. What do you want? That weird voice in my head again. Right now, I want to be left alone to do my work. But the question lingers, and I realise that I'm eavesdropping, unconsciously, to a conversation happening behind me. They're discussing options for other jobs, and how they could just start their own business like their mate did from round the corner. They seem to be arguing over whether it's safer to just get another job and work for someone else than it is to take a risk at running their own business with their own schedule and their own freedom, making the decisions themselves and then selling the company years later for a hefty profit that sees them retire to the Caribbean. Bob encourages them back to work, but it got me thinking, what do I want to do? I mean, if this job is finished, I'm going to need to earn some money somewhere. I doubt my landlord's going to accept fresh air as payment, and I do kind of like having hot showers and warm radiators, which wouldn't be an option if I don't pay my energy bill. But do I need to keep working for others? Can I not just go it alone, start my own company, get a few different jobs where I can pick and choose what hours I work? I've seen others make it work really well with selling things to people as a hobby. Granted, I've also seen many more people fail at that, but some do make it work. Same as I've seen people succeed and also fail at running their own business. Shops thriving one year and going out of business the next on the high street. It seems like the world is shifting. There are so many more opportunities. So why not for me? Because I should just get a secure job, do my work, pay my bills, settle down, have kids, etc., etc., etc. But I did the secure job part, and that's not looking so secure right now. Can any job be secure? It seems right now that starting my own business would offer just as much security as looking for another job. But what business would I run? What can I offer the world? What do I want to do with my life? So I pull out a notepad and pick up a pencil, check that no one's around, and I write, what do I want at the top? And I just start writing. My own house, time freedom, more money, a rabbit, to travel the world, a nice car, a house in the countryside, to learn how to snowboard, to be able to spend a week every month on holiday, to buy some nice furnishings, have some really nice artwork in my house, have a really big garden with a river at the end and a boat. What else would I want? Weekly manicures, pedicures, weekly massage. Gym membership, that would be good. Maybe even my own private island. My ear's burning. Hang on a minute. I say I want all these things. But how am I going to get them? I don't have those skills. I don't have the time. I don't have the money to pay for all of that. I mean, how much does an island cost anyway? I know Richard Branson's got his own, but didn't that burn down? Don't know. That burning sensation in my ears going back to my head. Maybe I should just stop thinking. Maybe I really should just get out of my head, get back to work. It's nearly home time anyway. Right, let's get on. So I finished my work that day. I say goodbye to everyone in the office. Hey, who knows? Might not even be in tomorrow. Might get a message, not bother. Or some people might get a message and some maybe come in. Don't know. Because this really secure job is suddenly teetering. Once home, have my nice warm shower, put my dinner in the microwave, heat it up. And then I remember that text message I got during the day, and I check it. And yes, I don't know the number, but I know the name. That's my friend from years ago. We've not been in contact for ages. And they're asking if they're texting Morgan. So I say, yes, this is Morgan. And they go, and the message comes back, wow, how are you? I'm so glad you still have the same number. Yep, I've had this number since I was 17, since a very, very old friend gave the phone to me because they were sick of not being able to get hold of me. But I'm good. How are you? Oh, I'm doing so amazing. Life is so good. I get to choose my own hours. I get to work when I choose. I'm in contact with so many amazing people. What are you doing nowadays? And I sit there and I think, hang on. This person's saying that they're doing everything that I've written down on that paper that I wrote at work today. Oh, I'm not doing much, to be fair. Might be losing my job this week. My house is. Do I really have to tell them that? I delete that message. Yeah, everything's good. Work's good. Going out in the evening. Yeah, no, life's good. Because we don't tell other people when we're struggling, do we? We don't make a big thing about it. We just say it's all good. And then they send me a really weird message. What are you doing at the weekend? What am I doing at the weekend? I might, if it's not raining, go and play dodge the dog pillar in the park, like I do most weekends. Maybe I'll get on a bus and go a bit further. Let's settle with nothing much. What about you? They're running their own webinar. I've never been on a webinar. That sounds interesting. What's it about? The knowing doing gap? What does that even mean? So I ask. That sounds really interesting. No idea what it means, but it sounds really good. Count me in. And then they send me a link. And then I click the link. I sign up. And before you know it, I've got 4 emails and all sorts going on. That's enough for today. That's really enough for today. But hang on. There's that quote again. You can't change the beginning, but you can start where you are now and change the ending. That's the same quote twice in a day. So I go to my pocket where I stash that note that I wrote down earlier with all the things on it that I want. And I look through it. The house, the nice car, the rabbit, the massages, the traveling. How amazing would life be to be able to do that? And yet somebody's just texted me saying that that's what they do. That can't be a coincidence. I think it might be time for bed before I let myself go too far. And I'm going to fall asleep, dreaming about all of these things that I could do. And that little voice that keeps saying, well, you can't. Well, I'm only dreaming. We're allowed to dream, aren't we? I'm not doing anything about it. but I can dream. I think I'll do just that. I will close my eyes and I will dream. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. And that's chapter 2. A little bit on the fly, but I think it's going in the right direction. I'm quite looking forward to hearing more about what this webinar is all about. Who is this old friend that suddenly popped up out of nowhere? Can it be a coincidence when these things happen? Have you ever noticed when you're thinking about a certain thing and then you see it everywhere? It's like when you order a new car, isn't it? You order the brand new red Mercedes or whatever it is, or the red Skoda. And all of a sudden, everywhere you look is that exact car in that exact color. Were they there before? Who knows? Maybe your awareness has just been built upon. Who knows? But it's quite fun to do. So thank you for joining me. I am grateful to the internet for looking like it's been quite active. We'll see. I'll check the recordings shortly. And I hope you can join me next Tuesday to see what Morgan does next for chapter 3. Have a great rest of your evening. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. And if you do want the recordings or you're not quite sure where to find them, then just drop me a message and I will send you the direct links. So have a great rest of your day and talk again soon. Bye.